What is your read on currencies here, and anything that Powell had to say yesterday?
Well, all Powell had to say was the exact same thing. Well, he didn't say the exact same thing, but he basically gave us the exact same projections he has been giving us. What he did say was he said the quiet part out loud. He said that there was inflation and that inflation had that there could be a noticeable uptick in inflation as the economy recovers and people get back out to the job. And obviously, with the backdrop of how much money supply we've increased over the last year, that inflationary concern that we've been talking about is real. It absolutely is real, and my personal belief is I think Powell is understating the inflationary concern, quite frankly. I believe there's a reason they adjusted the Fed mandate last year to do an average of 2% inflation instead of 2% inflation, and so they knew what was coming down the pike. But the problem isn't what Powell said yesterday, Tim. The problem is what the Fed had been saying for the previous 3 months. They had put out this very coordinated effort to put out that hashtag no inflation. We don't see any inflation. We're not concerned about inflation. They were very coordinated in their communication regarding the lack of concern over inflation in monetary policy and in regards to the economic recovery. That did not matter if the speech was about inflation, if the speech was about supply rates, if the speech was about the economy or the recovery or the pandemic or the velocity or the fiscal stimulus, monetary stimulus, quantitative easing. It didn't matter the conversation topic. It was hashtag no inflation. And Powell under some fairly heated, not heated, but aggressive questioning. I would say I was a little more aggressive with my 11-year-old daughter last night on her math homework. So I wouldn't exactly say it was aggressive questioning, but under some heated questioning did admit that there is a little bit of concern over inflation. And the market obviously reacted to that. But to me, it's not about Powell saying the quiet part out loud yesterday. To me, it was Powell not participating in that coordinated effort to say hashtag no inflation. And so that when the because guys, economists, hedge funds, institution traders, you and I, we all make decisions based on monetary policy. And we all understand how important the Fed and the Fed put and this low interest rate environment is to not just the continuation of the growth side of the market, but just the absolute stabilization that this house of cards is built upon. And so we make decisions based on what the Fed says regarding inflation, and because they're not as transparent as we would like them to be. And so the problem that I saw is just that they lack transparency in their messaging, and their messaging leads to some confusion, which leads to uncertainty, which leads to fear. And as that fear builds in the market, lack of confidence also happens
Mm-hmm.
in the market. And once the faith is broken in the market, it's like the faith of a currency. It's really hard to get that back in the short term. And so I think the Fed is making a mistake in not being as clear and not being as honest and not being as forthright on what truly is the concern over inflation. And they should be much more transparent in having that conversation with the marketplace. And at this point in the cycle, and with now, what has Powell had now? 3 years. The
Mm-hmm.
man needs to be fired. Like he needs to be
Amen.
fired. He absolutely 100% is in above his. He is in over his head here. He needs to be gone. And again, I don't say that lightly because even though I disagree with the Fed, I don't like saying things negative about other people. But this is a recovery of massive scale, and that inflationary concern could spin out of control with one bad move here. And I'm sorry, having somebody say the same bullshit for the last 10 years is not going to do the job this time. Powell needs to go. Yesterday was an unmitigated disaster of a joke that a fifth grader could have done it better in that presser than he did. I thought it was a bad performance. I thought it was terrible messaging, terrible communication. The man should go. That's my opinion, and I stand by that opinion. But the second thing, Tim, and I do think this is as equally important, is it's not what he did say, it's what he failed to say. He said, yes, we have inflation coming at us, but we have the tools. Well, Mr. J. Powell, Mr. J, we don't trust you with your tools. We don't know what you're going to do. You lie to us. You don't tell us the truth. You talk out of your ass, and you talk circles around your Fed counterparts.
You're not the contractor we believe anymore.
You disagree literally with the message that you're putting out there in your communication strategy. We don't know exactly what your true beliefs are on inflation. And so we don't trust you when you say you have the tools to handle anything that is coming down the pike from an inflationary perspective, since you have a zero interest rate policy. And what we all know is if you raise interest rates, you will break this house of cards, because the very thought of the 30-year note going up this week broke the market 5%.
Yep.
So yes, it's not about what he did say, it's also about what he did not say. And he did not specifically lay out any degree of plan that if inflation does spin out of control, even to the slightest degree, what they are going to do to offset that. He did not lay out any plan other than just hinting to the almighty Fed and being able to cure any problem financially in any capacity. He did not specifically suggest what those tools were to combat any economic reality. And at this point in the cycle, we're just supposed to trust the almighty to fix whatever problem there is. Thank you for the Fed. Appreciate you guys. So it wasn't just what he said, it was about what he didn't say. And I thought it was a pathetic display of knowledge and leadership. And I just thought he needs to be fired.